was just wondering if you guys are planning to do anything to get Joe Biden on the ballot for president.
Yeah, well, first I'd like to compliment the staff at the Secretary of State's office, because it's my understanding that the National Democratic folks did not know this, that the statutes were, this is something the Secretary of State's office brought to Secretary LaRose's attention. He thought it was important to let the National Democrat folks know, rather than waiting until August before it was too late. So I'm not sure that anybody's on the other side is giving kudos to Frank LaRose right now. But yeah, I think it's a Democratic problem. There's have to be a Democratic solution. That hasn't been proposed to me. I'm not sure that someone said, well, this is a legislative change. I don't know that it has to be. I think the National Committee doesn't have to wait till their convention to notify the state of Ohio who their candidate is. It doesn't say how you tell them. And the state of Ohio doesn't recognize a national convention as the determining factor by any political party. It's typically by their national committee or something like that. So it's a little bit complex right now. So we'll wait for the Democratic leaders to suggest how that would get solved.
Speaker Stevens mentioned that he's hoping the Senate will put Delta 8 in the House vaping bill that's now over in the Senate. Is that the plan? And if not, what is the plan for Delta 8?
Yeah, I don't know that that's the plan. At least that hasn't been brought to me by any of my policy folks. If there's a, obviously the governor wants to do that. I think we here in the Senate want to do that. And there is a bill that I think Senator Steve Huffman is working on. So I think we're going to get it done fairly quickly. The House and the governor and the Senate are on board, but the actual vehicle I can't say right at the moment.
The governor also called for a revised version of the Social Media Parental Notification Act despite the ongoing litigation, but he said, we can address the issues that the judge had with it. Any motivation within your caucus to do that?
I think there's a lot of motivation. This is something that is, it's perplexing, I think, to some of us. And I understand that there are a lot of bad things that are available to kids. We say, well, the parents should decide that. Well, the more we make alcohol available, the more we make marijuana available, even if parents are trying to do something, if they're ever vigilant, the more bad things are going to happen. And look, there's not, in my mind, a great societal damage by saying that 12 and 14-year-olds aren't allowed to go or see certain things on the internet. It's not like we're telling people they can't redress their grievances with the government, or they don't have freedom of speech, or they can't get an education, or they can't get housing or a job, or all of the things that are really crucial. Not being able to look at TikTok, I mean, that's really going to hurt a kid, or it may hurt the bottom line of the people who are making money off of this. So yeah, I think that, and this is not my area of expertise. There's some folks in our caucus who I think know a lot more about this. So I very much am interested in pursuing what the governor and lieutenant governor have been suggesting.
The governor called for a ban on flavored tobacco and vape products. Any appetite to do that?
Well, again, it might be a personal preference. We have lots of products that are bad for people that are legal in the state of Ohio. The things that cause most of heart disease in the state of Ohio, which is the leading cause of death, we don't have any bans or restrictions on those things. The individual cities ban was appropriate because, folks in the city of Columbus could drive out to the highway by New Albany and take all of their other business out there, and it disturbed the local economy, among some of the other reasons. Same thing would happen in Cincinnati, Ohio. Folks would go to northern Kentucky and take their shopping business there. That's probably the best example, but those things happened in the Wheeling area, certainly the Toledo, Monroe area. Those folks are going to be up there. It's a personal preference. I don't know why it's a personal preference for people, but we don't have to understand all of those things. So, it's one of those things that's in the category of we know it's bad for people, but some people want to do it, kind of like marijuana. Just read an article in the Wall Street Journal today. It was an article about people who are middle-aged and how they can not have dementia when they're 70s. I'm starting to read more articles like that. And they talked about the fact that the people more likely to have dementia when you're 70, among a variety of other risk factors and genetics and things like that, are people who smoke marijuana. We know it's bad for you. It's now legal in the state of Ohio. Putting a ban on those products that you described seems to be out of league with what the voters, as we say, at least the voters who voted in November of '23, just said.